What's up, guys, and welcome back to another great episode of the Fit to Fat to Fit Experience podcast. I'm your host, Drew Manning. I'll be flying solo today. Lynn is out and won't be able to make it. But today we have a great episode with Fallon Mercedes. She is the third female trainer to be on Fit to Fat to Fit, the TV show on A&E. And today we're going to sit down with her. If you haven't watched her episode yet on A&E, I definitely recommend you watch the episode first before you go any further. So if you haven't watched it, push pause. I don't want to, ruin any, surprises for you after watching the episode. So go watch the episode, then come listen to this. For those that have listened or seen the show, her show, then what we're going to talk about obviously today is, Fallon's journey from Fit to Fat to Fit, and obviously the pink elephant in the room. What happened with JD? Why did he quit? We've never seen this happen during the season. This is the first time. They were doing so good, and then all of a sudden he just was a mess and just decided to quit. And it seemed like he hated Fallon. And there was a very, very uncomfortable scene, where we kind of dive into what happened between them. And, it seems like Fallon did everything she could. We talk about, does she have any regrets? Is there something she would have gone back and changed? And she admits that maybe there's something she could have done. But ultimately, it came down to JD and his decision to leave and quit, which is unfortunate, because you hate to see people that you care about not take their health very seriously. But at the same time, I think people are really going to be able to relate to JD and understand, look, sometimes we sacrifice our health for wealth, and for our jobs, we sacrifice a lot. And we make that our top priority, paying the bills. We're ambitious, but at what price does that come? So we dive into that with Fallon. We talk about her specifics of her training and nutrition and her philosophies. And you guys get to know her so much more personally versus what you see on the episodes. Because in the episodes, you guys, I know that these people are painted a picture a certain way. And sometimes you might not like the person that was painted on camera. But listening to the podcast, you really get to know their personality a lot more and see them for who they really are, even though it's reality TV, you guys. So you'll definitely want to stick around for this episode. And we definitely cover a lot of gems, hidden gems in this episode. But first, our show sponsor, you guys, as always, is dollarworkoutclub.com. dollarworkoutclub.com, for those of you who don't know, is an online program that was created by me, Lynn, and Natalie Hodson. And it's an online platform that you subscribe to. It's only $1 a week, you guys. It's $1 a week. There's no contracts, no hidden fees. And basically what you get for that $1 is so much high quality content that it blows the competition out of the water. You get access to 5 at-home workout videos that can be done at all fitness levels. And all workout videos, you guys, are done at home with very minimal equipment. You don't need special equipment to follow these workouts. If you're a beginner and you haven't worked out in years, or if you're advanced, like me, for example, you can get a great workout in 10 to 20 minutes. And then on top of that, your dollar goes even further by giving you access to 5 healthy recipe videos that are created by us. And you also get access to 5 motivational videos that are created by us that cover things like, tips and tricks to help you live and maintain a healthy lifestyle. So check it out, dollarworkoutclub.com. Like I said, it's just $1 a week. There's no long-term commitments. It's really very high quality content for what you get for just $1, whereas you're going to pay anywhere between $12 to $15 for our competitors' websites, Beachbody or, Daily Burn, which are great, by the way. I have nothing against those, but you get so much more at dollarworkoutclub.com. So I definitely would recommend you checking it out, and letting us know what you guys think. Okay, let's dive into today's episode with Fallon. Fallon, thank you so much for joining me here on the Fit to Fat to Fit Experience podcast. How are you doing today?
I am so excited to finally be on the podcast. I have been waiting for my episode to air. I've been listening to everybody else's episodes and podcasts, so I'm excited. Finally, it's my turn. All that hard work for one episode.
I know, it is your turn. All this time, all this filming and everything, and one 45-minute episode on TV and one 45-minute podcast with me. It's crazy. All that work for just a little bit of airtime, right?
Yeah, but it's well worth it. I'm excited, to see how everybody reacts, and hopefully, they can sympathize with my client and me at the same time.
Yes. So let's just dive into your episode, because your episode was full of drama. Was, the first time we've had anybody quit, for the most part on the show. And it was a huge surprise. It was a huge shock. I think a lot of people's hearts were broken to see JD kind of bow out and just, kind of give up on himself, which is very, very unfortunate. But here's the thing is I think a lot of people can relate to that because they've seen people in their lives that have given up on themselves, physically, emotionally. And it's not just physically, right? I mean, it has to do with a lot more emotional problems. But let's back up before that. Let's start with your weight gaining journey. Okay. So here you are, you hear about this TV show, you try out for it, you live out in LA, you're a very good looking woman. Thank you. At what point did you find out that you had to gain this weight for the show?
I remember I was in the casting office and I had, they were telling me about it, but they didn't reveal to me that I had to gain the weight. But then when they told me that it was the book that you wrote based off of, your book, I was like, oh, okay. I actually read your book. So I was like, oh, I get it. But I also was like, oh, dang, I wanted to do a bikini competition. I'm like, I don't know about this. So I had spoke to my boyfriend about it, and he was the one who really convinced me. He was like, actresses put on weight and lose it for a role. He's like, why not do it? And then, like, my background, I went to school for broadcast journalism, so I have a reporter background. So kind of the reporter in me was like, you know what, do it. You seem to claim, you're great at what you do. Well, prove it. So it was kind of exciting in a weird way to gain the weight and then try to lose it.
So you pretty much took it on as a challenge. Like, this is a challenge that I'm going to show, what I'm made of. Is that kind of what you're saying? Yeah. Okay. Now, here's another funny question is you should have, or why didn't you still do the bikini competition? That would have been funny.
No,
Just step on stage, all confident, a little bit curvier. You still could have won.
I think to do a bikini competition, you have to have your body fat percentage at a certain percentage. And I think when I gained the most of my weight, the majority of my weight, I think I was like 40+%. So I think they would have not allowed me to even step on stage, but I would have if they would have let me.
That would have been really funny. That would have been a funny part of the show if that would have happened. But
but basically the show aired me in like a sports bra and little shorts. So that's even bigger than a bikini competition. The whole world is going to see me with my fat out.
Yeah. Oh, so here we are. So there's 3 females on the show, 3 female trainers, and yours is the 3rd episode to air. You gained the most weight out of all the female trainers. And here's one thing that people don't realize is they didn't really see a lot of the behind the scenes stuff as far as you struggling to put on the weight. Can you go into a little bit more detail? Because the episode didn't show everything. Some of the other emotional struggles that you had going on in your life that had to do with this weight gain process. Because I Skyped with you once a month to kind of check in on you and, see how you were doing. And there was, they made it look like it was pretty easy, for you to put it on, but really, how hard did you struggle?
I'll never forget the executive producer, Dan, who you interviewed for the show. He brought me into his office, I think the first month after the first month of weight gain, sat me down and said, you are the outlier. You are the only trainer who is not packing on the weight consistently. We are not sure if we believe you that you're really trying to gain the weight. Then the door opened and he had the biggest ice cream sundae waiting for me. And literally, I had to eat the sundae in front of him to prove to him I am really trying to gain the weight. So it's just so funny that I was the one who was like, they didn't believe that I was trying to gain the weight. They thought I was scared. And yet I gained the most weight at the end out of all the girls. So
here's the funny thing is I know Dan and I know exactly why he did that. And he's very, very smart at doing that. Yeah. Because here's the thing, and he might hate me for saying this, but he told other trainers that too. Because here's the thing is I knew from Skyping with you guys once a month that I could see you guys were trying, but a lot of you guys were like hitting plateaus as far as the weight gain goes. And of course, for ratings, this is a reality TV show, people. We do want you to put on as much weight as possible in the 4 months because a lot of people complain, well, it's not even noticeable. They gained 20 pounds. And so anyways, you are trying to gain as much weight as possible. But, I could tell that some people were kind of scared. Like, I don't want to get too big because, I don't want to get stretch marks, or I don't want to be able to get so big I can't turn back. But here's the thing, and this is the parallel to the other side of it, is you as the trainer expect your client to do everything, give you 100% at what you're going to tell them to do to live your lifestyle and go from fat to fit. Mm-hmm. And they expect you to do the same thing for them. And so it's easy just to kind of coast and be like, well, I'm eating pizza and fries. But, I think that's funny that he made you do that, though, in front of him.
And, I knew it, too, because I'm like, there's no way these girls are packing on. I was eating plátanos, rice and beans, like everything fried. I was like, there's no way. And then two, I think a lot of people don't realize it takes a while for your metabolism to slow down the same way it takes a while for it to speed up when you're trying to lose the weight. So, but yeah, I guess Dan got me. He fooled me.
No, it's smart. He's very smart at what he does, and he's an executive producer for a reason. And so, but yeah, you did have some struggles gaining the weight. We know that you did try hard to put on the weight. You can definitely see that in the episode. But talk to us a little bit more about the specifics of what things you struggled with, especially on the mental and emotional level. Or maybe in medical side as well, that surprised you.
Yeah. I think what surprised me the most out of everything, I did gain a lot of weight and had tons of headaches and, nausea. But I think what surprised me the most, this surprised me. I don't know if I shared this with you before, but I am really cold at night. I have to sleep on a heating pad because I don't know what it is. I'm always cold. My feet are always cold. But when I gained the weight, I was sweating profusely at night. I felt like a heater. It was just bizarre. I was just constantly sweating at night. So I just had so much body fat. I was like a bear. But other than that, what surprised me was getting my menstrual cycle every 2 weeks. It literally scared me to the point where I was like, I might just tap out and quit the show because, right now I don't have any children, but, I do want to become a mom one day. And I just didn't realize how much weight gain can affect, your reproductive system as a woman.
Yeah. And that's one thing that's scary, with this experiment. This is an experiment, and, just so everybody knows, you are, supervised by a doctor that's, doing blood work and checking up on you. But it can affect you at so many other levels other than just your weight gain, right? Your hormone levels and things like that, and how it affects you is directly related to your diet. And it's kind of scary, right?
Yeah, totally scary. I think every episode, they don't show the guys cry that much, which is weird. I think JJ was the only crybaby, but so far you see Carrie crying, you see Matt crying, and you're going to see me crying. But what they don't show in my episode is that actually JJ cries more than me, and that's because his testosterone was so low. So it looks like I cried a lot, but he actually cried way more than me. Shout
out to JJ. JJ's going to get mad, but that's kind of funny. That's a good point. Yeah, JJ was the only one that cried out of the dudes, but it's just, he's sweating from his eyeballs because he works out so much. That's what it is. Guys don't cry. We work out. But that's really funny. So, okay. Let's fast forward a little bit, because here's the thing: is you gained 41 pounds, but you're a little. I mean, I've seen you in person. You're tiny, as far as your height goes. So it is very noticeable because you're so short. It just goes out, right? Yeah. And it was remarkable to see how much weight you gained so quickly. Were you kind of surprised at how quickly and how much weight you gained in those 4 months? Did you expect to gain more or less than that?
Honestly, I didn't believe that I would gain that much weight. I was trying to, but if you would have asked me the 4 months prior to me gaining the weight, and if I was honestly speaking, I would have said, no, I'll probably gain 25, 30. I never thought that I would gain 40 plus pounds. And my parents are back on the East Coast. And I told them, I'm gaining weight. So after I packed on the 40 plus pounds, I sent them photos. And my mom called me. She was like, honey, are you pregnant? I'm like, no, Mom. She's like, are you sure? Did you get pregnant during this period of weight gaining? I'm like, no, Mom, I'm just fat. Leave me alone.
That is really funny. That is actually really funny. But here's the thing: is I know you personally, Fallon, and you are actually pretty confident. You actually liked the way your body looked. You mean you were a little bit curvier, a little bit more junk in the trunk, and you were actually, this isn't that bad. I actually like this, whereas most people, trainers that have been in shape their whole life are like kind of freaking out because they didn't know how to embrace their bigger body. You, on the other hand, it didn't show a lot of that in the episode, but I know you personally, and you actually liked being a little bit curvier, right?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just a little junk in the trunk. There was a lot of junk in the trunk. And I didn't like the cellulite that came with it. But I feel like one thing that I try to teach my clients, especially my female clients, is that like you have to love yourself no matter what size you are. Yeah, you want to try to get to your best you, but you have to love yourself in the process. So I felt like, who would I be as a trainer? I'd be a hypocrite saying, don't love yourself at your biggest. So that was something that I really had to embrace. So, if I went out at night with my girlfriends or on a date with my boyfriend, I would throw on my Spanx and make those curves work. And, again, I'm half Dominican, so I'm used to being curvy. Even at my fittest, some people might look at me and be like, oh, she's not fit. She shouldn't be a trainer. But I'm fit curvy, what I like to call, and I feel like I'm comfortable being curvy. And I did get big, and even though that's not where I want to be, I just tried to love myself through the process. And they have that saying, fake it till you make it, and I just faked my confidence until I believed it, until I could look in the mirror and be like, you know what, you are beautiful inside and out.
Yeah, because here's the thing is, I know on the show, this is a reality TV show, they try and portray people that are overweight as sad and kind of depressed. And now these trainers are so emotional because they're overweight. That's not what it's all about. There's a lot of people that you probably know that are bigger, thicker, curvier, whatever you want to call it, that are still confident and happy in who they are. Am I right?
Yeah. So what I tell people too is that, it's not necessarily the numbers on the scale. You should be happy, and shout out to, all the people who are confident in their skin, whatever size they are. But what is most important is your body fat percentage, because, you want to be confident, but to the place that I was at, I was confident, but, when your body fat percentage gets that high, you shouldn't feel good if you're having, issues with your health, your menstrual cycle, high blood pressure, pre-diabetic. That's the issue. It's your health, not so much what you look like. You want to make sure that you're living a healthy life so you can enjoy life the way it should be enjoyed.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to talk about next, was that's what your real struggle was. It was like you could embrace the bigger body, the thicker curves. That's not the part that bothered you the most. It was how you felt. Right? Your hormones being off, and, the way you felt emotionally and physically from the weight gain. Like, it's okay to love your body, but yeah, when you're talking about those health issues, and that's what we try and preach here, with my brand, and what you guys do as well, Fallon, is getting people to focus on their medical health first, and then let weight loss and those kinds of things be a byproduct of living a healthy lifestyle over time. But take care of your health first and foremost, because we all know there's a lot of unhealthy ways to lose weight. You could definitely starve yourself, or, there's a lot of unhealthy ways to get a six pack. So it doesn't mean that you're becoming healthier just by losing weight. So I love that you talked about that. Okay. Let's focus, because a big portion of this episode focus on the struggle between you and JD. Now, the first little bit, you guys were like best friends. I was like, this is such a perfect couple. Here's Fallon, 5 foot nothing, and here's JD, like 6'5", 440 or something when he first started. I'm like, this is the total opposites. And you guys made such like a perfect couple as far as like training goes. I was like, this is going to be awesome. And it looked like, he liked you, you liked him, and there was a good camaraderie there between you two. At what point did things start to turn south that you noticed, even behind the scenes, off camera?
Yeah. So I fell in love with JD once I saw his tape. My mom, she has a lung disease, and his mom had cancer. So I feel like once he said that he wanted to lose the weight to inspire himself, but also inspire his mom, that really hit home for me. And, he's a big, lovable guy, very nice, but when I noticed there was another side to him, and I don't think I shared this with anybody before, but I remember, we had to do our one-on-one interviews, and my call time was set for a certain time, and I guess they went over on JD's interview, so I had accidentally walked into the room on JD, and I overheard him saying, Fallon's not a good trainer. She doesn't know how to train me. She doesn't know what she's doing. I keep telling her my legs hurt and she keeps on wanting to do legs. And I slowly backed out and shut the door. And that's when I kind of realized, oh, okay. And then I confronted him on camera. I said, hey, how do you think I'm training you? Is everything okay? Is there anything else you want me to do? And he totally be like, no, you're fine. You're doing a good job. And that's when I realized, okay, I got to watch out for him. There's another side to him. So when the numbers didn't match up on the scale for the nutrition plan that I gave him, for the workouts he was supposed to be doing, I already knew, he might not be telling me the whole truth. And then, on social media, he skipped a workout and he said he was somewhere and he wasn't. And then, there was a couple times I was on his social media and I saw him, I think, eating like burgers or having beer. And then when I asked him, he would tell me, I swear I'm hungry. I've only been having protein shakes. So I mean, that's when it kind of hit for me. And it was hard because like I didn't want to be too hard on him because I know it's a sensitive subject and I know just to get him to work out was already a big deal, but I didn't want to be that drill sergeant trainer and scare him away. But as you could see, in the end, he chose not to train with me anyway. So a part of me feels like, okay, was it in vain? All my effort?
Yeah. So, wow, that's really interesting. I didn't know about that part of you walking in on him and overhearing him and then you confronting him and then and you didn't call him out on it. I thought that was really interesting to kind of see how that played out. But I think as a trainer, I don't train a lot anymore these days, but as most trainers have probably experienced that with their clients where their client is like, I'm doing everything you're telling me, protein shakes and salads, that's all I'm eating. That there's something else going on. But here's the thing is you can react one of two ways. Be like, either tell me the truth and because you're lying to me right now, or you can be like, I believe you. Like, it's okay. We'll keep working at it. There's like those two routes you can take. And it just depends on the person. Like the person has to, and at the end of the episode, JD even says it, there's no one else that can motivate me but me. I have to be my own motivation. And that's what it came down to is like, you could do both of those routes. You could be the militant person or you could be the merciful, empathetic trainer that is listening to him and understanding him. But at the same time, it comes down to a choice and he just wasn't ready and decided not to follow through and, unfortunately just made excuses and, it is what it is. That's unfortunate and it happened on camera for him. I think I feel bad for him. You who knew him definitely feel bad for him because he chose not to follow through. And I think it's going to break people that haven't seen it, it's going to break a lot of people's hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and here's the other thing, another powerful moment on the show was you guys walking into the doctor's office and talking to him about his blood work. Can you kind of run through that and kind of recap that scene for us? Yeah.
I had just gotten to the point with him where I didn't know what else I could do with him. That I Skyped with you and you coached me through that I need to talk to him. I had multiple come to Jesus meetings with him. I gave him plenty of opportunities for him to tell me the truth that he's been cheating on his nutrition plan and he still wouldn't man up and tell me. So the only other card that I had in my pocket to pull was, okay, you said you're pretty healthy for a big guy. Let's see what the blood says. So I took him to go get his blood labs read. And, for me, it was emotional for so many reasons. One, because I put my health at stake for him. Two, I wanted it so bad for him. I wanted to show him he can live an amazing, healthy life. He didn't have to live like this anymore. And three, my father had a stroke a little over 1.5 years ago. It was very hard to watch him. It took months and months to rehab, to get mobility back. And it all stemmed from him not taking care of his diabetes due to his diet. So when the dietitian read the results, it just, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I just really, it literally just came out. I was trying to be strong and I just started crying, and I really just put my heart on my sleeve, and I wanted to say, listen, JD, like, this is a wake-up call for your life. And, you know, I thought I was almost 100% sure that that would have gotten through to him.
Yeah. And it obviously didn't, because that's the thing, is he didn't get emotional at all. But I think a lot of people are going to be able to relate to that, Fallon, because there's a lot of people who might be overweight, maybe not as big as JD, but they're like, you know what, I feel fine. I feel healthy. I don't feel like I'm dying. And that was very similar to my experience doing Fit to Fat to Fit when I went on the Dr. Oz show at my heaviest. I was like, look, I know I'm overweight, but I don't feel like my liver, my kidneys hurt. Like, I don't feel like I was in that bad of shape. But based on my numbers, it was a wake-up call for me when Dr. Oz showed me, okay, here's a healthy liver and here's your liver. Here's a healthy kidney and here's your kidney based on what you're doing to your body. Eating these foods that, you know, a large percentage of Americans eat those foods and think, you know, I'm doing okay. Like, I'm not that bad. I can walk. I can get around. I can get up and down off from the couch and, you know, walk with my kids. But things like that, you would think would be a wake up call for people like JD. But at the end of the day, you know, to each their own. Some people just won't be motivated, even if you show them like, look, you're going to be dead in 2 years. They'll be like, all right, well, you know. So, man, that part was very, very deflating for me. I think a lot of people as well. Like, man, JD, come on, you can do this. Like, don't, like, please realize that you're worth it to be healthy. You're worth it to live a long, healthy life. And like he said at the end of the episode, he's like, I want to get married. I want to have kids. But at the same time, you know, he wasn't ready to change just yet. So I'm glad that they showed that part, because I know that this show focuses a lot on weight loss and like what the scale says, and like, you know, it's a success if you lose weight, and if you're not, then you're not successful. But really, at the end of the day, if you can just change your medical health, you'll feel so much better. The weight will take care of itself over time. So anyways, I'm glad that they showed that part. Okay. The next scene I want to talk about, Fallon, this is a very hard, uncomfortable scene to watch. Was your last straw with JD, where you kind of gave him the ultimatum of look, you know, I'll do whatever it takes to help you, but if you don't meet me here at this park at this time, like, then it's over. And he just kind of like lashed out at you. Was that as uncomfortable for you as it was for us watching?
Honestly, you know, I felt so disrespected, and I was already at my wit. And, you know hurt people, and I tried to not take it so personal. And I just had to lay down the law. This is what it is. You know, I let him, you know, throughout the course that we trained together, I let him dictate a lot of things. And, you know, he would say, okay, I can't make it. Or, you know, I knew he wasn't following the nutrition plan. And I felt like I felt like I was coddling him a little. And because I didn't want to scare him off. But to me, I felt like I'm doing him no justice if I'm letting him get away with certain things and certain behaviors. So in real life, my normal clients, I would never let them get away with something like that. So I just had to lay down the law. This is what it is. And you can curse at me. You can lash out at me. Like, I get it. But at the end of the day, this is what it is. I'm the trainer. And, you know, this might not have been it, but a part of me felt like, would he have had acted that way if I was a male trainer? You know, a little part of me felt like maybe he didn't respect me as much because he didn't care as much, or was it a part of it because I was a female? I don't know. There was just so many emotions, but I just, in that moment, to kind of step back and say, this is what it is. Either you're 100% in or you're not, because I was going above and beyond for him. I was constantly, you know, driving to him, training to him, calling him, you know, tweaking his nutrition, trying to help him, you know, checking up on him. And I didn't see the same, you know, effort being given back to me.
Looking back at it now, do you think there's something you could have done differently? Like, do you kind of feel guilty or blame yourself? Like, if I would have maybe done this or been more empathetic, or, you know, something else, do you look back and feel any kind of guilt about it at all, or feel like there's something else you could have done?
No, I think it took me a while because it's been a couple months since the show, but it took me a while to not blame myself. And I finally had to realize, like, you're not the problem. He's been living like this for a long time. And if he doesn't truly want it, there's nothing that I could say or do. I mean, I even had his blood labs read. Like, what else could I possibly do to motivate him? I think if there was one thing that I could have changed, maybe it was to have been harder on him from the beginning, but I feel like that would have scared him off in the beginning. So, I'm happy he was able to lose some weight with me, and I hope, even though he gained some of the weight back, I hope, one day he'll be ready and he'll lose all the weight and contact me and say, hey, I did it, and I will be super happy and proud of him if he does do that.
So it's been about 5 months since the end of filming, 4 or 5 months, or 6 months maybe now for you. Have you had any contact with him since then?
No contact.
No contact. Not on social media or nothing?
Nothing.
Okay. Just curious. I'm assuming a lot of people want to know, like, oh, maybe you guys are friends now, or...
Before I left and they didn't show this, I gave him a hug. It kind of looks like I just walked away. But I hugged him and I said, the decision is yours. I'm here for you if you need me. And he never contacted me again. And I feel like if I was to reach out to him, that's me doing the work again. If he would have contacted me even a week later and said, you know what, I'm game, I'm ready, I would have been like, okay, let's go. But he never contacted me again.
And this is really interesting because here's the thing, the whole Fit to Fat to Fit movement that we're doing, and with you guys, doing this Fit to Fat to Fit journey and me doing my Fit to Fat to Fit journey and having other people do this experience is to hopefully have these trainers gain some more empathy, and then the overweight clients being more motivated to trust their trainer, knowing that they're on their side and they're kind of understanding where they're coming from. Not that they'll fully understand, but the hope is that, the clients will be able to trust the trainers more out there that are trying to push them. But at the end of the day, even doing this Fit to Fat to Fit journey doesn't guarantee that, all clients will be motivated to now trust their trainers. I think a lot of people are super inspired by the Fit to Fat to Fit movement of trainers trying to gain weight to try and empathize and gain a better understanding, but it doesn't always work out perfectly. And this is one example, 9 out of 10 episodes, well, I shouldn't give away the other, the other endings to the other 2 episodes after you, but, it's not guaranteed all the time, but that's what my hope is with the Fit to Fat to Fit movement, is have these trainers or the clients kind of, be able to, trust their trainers more and have the trainers have a better understanding. Getting back to you, Fallon, can you talk to us about what your nutrition plan was specifically? Because so many people always want to know, like, okay, did you just have protein shakes and salad? Like JD was saying, like, that's all I've eaten for 7 days. It's like, what was your nutrition strategy going into this? And you said you worked out, 2 to 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
Is that sustainable, or where are you at now?
Do you want my nutrition plan for the show or for now?
Yeah, let's do maybe for the show. Because here's the thing, you did try and lose the weight in 4 months. So I understand it's a little bit more extreme probably.
So for the show, my nutrition plan was basically, limiting the carbs. I know a lot of people are like, doing macros, or for me personally, my body, everybody's different, but my body loves carbs. So I limited the carbs, and I had a cap on my calories for the day. I did 1,200 calories or less a day. I'm not giving that for everybody to do, but that worked well for my body. And what I do suggest for everybody to do, if you are serious and you want to lose some weight, do a food journal. You really, there's something powerful when you write it down. Even to this day, I still do a food journal. All my clients, I make them do a food journal. Even log, your workouts, how much you're burning, add that to the food journal, because it makes a difference. 1 pound of fat is 3,500 calories. So you should be knowing how much you're consuming and how much you're burning. Some people, they get to the point where they don't need to do that. For me, I like seeing what I eat. I love chocolate, so I don't want to write that chocolate down in my food journal. So I'll make it a point, today I'm going to have a clean slate. I'm not going to write that down. And then, give yourself a cheat meal a week and I think portion control is huge. If you're going to eat something that, might not be the healthiest, make sure you're not going to supersize it. Get it out of the way if you want to have that burger or whatever it is, but do, maybe one bun instead of two of the buns in the burger, and do the small size. Don't do the fries, instead of the soda, do water. So that really takes away, from the whole meal that you're eating. So you're not going to be packing on the pounds. You'll still be on target for whatever your weight loss is.
Yeah. And so now that you're maintaining your weight for the most part, what does your nutrition look like? Pretty much the same, or what's the difference between the two?
Yeah, it's kind of the same. What I do is, and I tell everybody, I have to eat breakfast. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. It's called breakfast for a reason. You're breaking the fast. So I wake up, I work out, eat breakfast, a good big one. I love crustless quiche. You can go to my blog, fitwithfallon.com, to get the recipe. I love, what else? I love salmon. I make this really amazing, like salty, sweet salmon, but not too much sodium. I like sweet potatoes, kale salads. I love protein shakes. I love grapefruit, all that stuff. So, cool. I have a very variety of food that I like to eat, but I just make sure I do the portions right.
And what about your exercise during the 4 months versus now? Do you work out 3 to 4 times a day, or how often were you working out during the show, and what kind of exercise were you doing? And then transition to where you are now, like what you do for exercise.
For now, for exercise, I'm just doing a lot of high intensity intervals, plyometrics, and then I like to do fun workouts like hiking and stuff like that.
Okay. And during the show?
I did the same thing during the show. I would, on the weekends, try to get outside or do something active and fun. But during the week, I was in the gym hitting it hard, doing at least 45 minutes of cardio and then strength training for a good half an hour.
Okay. Wow. So, man, do you feel like you're in better shape now versus before you started this Fit to Fat to Fit journey?
Yes, I definitely feel stronger. I feel like because I was more focused and dedicated. Before, I didn't have a set game plan. Now I feel like I had to prove to myself that I could not only be fit, but be fitter than what I was.
And how are you different now as a trainer versus before doing this journey, or how have you changed?
I think when my clients say I can't do one more, I'm like, I get it. My arms couldn't do one more either. I get it now. I'm like,
yeah. So a little bit more empathy.
Yeah, definitely more empathy.
Yeah. Which is good. And I feel like I'm the same way. Like I get a little bit more where they're coming from because I've kind of experienced that as well. And it does change your perception of how you train people, because you're finally understanding, okay, I know how hard it is, versus like when you've been in shape your whole life, you're like, okay, I get it. It's hard, but you don't really get it. You don't really understand just how hard it is because you've never experienced it. So you can't really process that in your brain to be like, well, just push harder. You know what I'm saying? And the mind is an incredible thing. Your body is incredible. It can do hard things. It can do impossible things. But to know where people are coming from, I think it just helps them know and trust you more and more motivated to push harder, which you do see in a lot of the episodes where, like, for example, last week, Carrie and Kinley's like, I'm going to do this last one for you. You know, and
Love
same thing
that.
with
Loved her. Wish she was my client. Loved her.
Oh, poor Fallon. I know. I feel bad for you. But, who knows? JD might be listening to this and he might be motivated to continue to make a change in his lifestyle from this experience. So I appreciate you, Fallon, doing this first and foremost. And I hope that it has changed you for the better. And it sounds like it has. And I really do hope that you have awesome clients that are just like gold and they'll do anything you ask, but it's good.
Well, thank you for letting me do this. And I would never again do this experiment ever in my life.
Dang it. I was going to ask you if you want to apply for season 2, but
the only time I'll get fat again is if I'm going to have a baby. That's it.
Are you making an announcement or?
No announcement. Okay, gotcha. There's no ring on my finger, so.
Oh, okay. Well, keep us posted on that, Fallon. And, at the end of the day, I'm sure you learn some experiences because when we go through hard times in our life or trials like this, you come out learning something that's going to help you become better in the long run, I believe. Yes. So I'm sure something for you is you've learned something that's going to help you later on down the road. Okay, really quick before we close with the lightning round questions, tell people where they can find you, social media, blogs, all of that.
You can find me online at fitwithfallon.com, my blog. You can find me on social media at fitwithfallon on Instagram and Twitter. And yeah, reach out to me if you have any questions. I would love to respond and help you out any way I can.
Okay. Thanks. Okay, really quick. Last few questions for you, Fallon. And these are kind of funny. What was the most embarrassing moment you had during your 8 months of Fit to Fat to Fit?
The most embarrassing is when I gained the weight, the producers would not let me put a shirt on, and I would yell at them and say, I would never train a male client in a sports bra. Like my boobs, they were just humongous after I gained the weight, and my stomach and then I had to wear shorts on top of it. It was just, I'm not going to lie, I was not embarrassed because of the weight so much, but I was embarrassed that I had to be in a sports bra on national television at my heaviest. Like now I know what Biggest Losers contestants feel like when they get on the scale with a sports bra and shorts.
Yeah, I know. It's funny that they have to do that. I know that it makes everybody uncomfortable for
even the people viewing.
Yeah. What was the funniest thing that happened during filming, either on camera out or off camera?
Funniest thing. What was funny? I don't know.
What was the funnest moment you had with JD? What was the funnest thing that you guys did?
When I wrestled him to the ground.
Yeah.
JD would act so tough and he was so huge. And I'm like, I could take you. And I would literally be wrestling with him and I would always take him down. It was pretty funny.
No, yeah. I actually was really impressed by that. I'm like, you actually really took him down. Like he really did fall down.
I should have went into wrestling.
Good job. Okay. What's one thing in this life that you can't live without besides family or friends or, TV or stuff like that?
Yeah, working out. 4 months, that was torture.
No, give me a physical product, like something that you just, it's like you have to have.
My cell phone. I am addicted to social media. I don't know how I did it without it.
I know that must have been hard, not posting pictures every day, right?
Right.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you being on social media because then you're able to live tweet with me on Tuesday nights during the show because I'm not the only one trying to answer a million people's questions. So.
No, I'm like, where is everybody?
Well, thank you so much, Fallon. Hey, I really do appreciate you being a part of this movement. Okay, guys, sorry that we kind of cut short. I guess Fallon's phone died as she was doing the interview. Luckily, we're just wrapping up anyways, and I was just saying goodbye to her and just wanted to tell her that I appreciated her. So sorry about that it got cut short, but that's okay. I think we covered everything we needed to. Hopefully, you guys go check Fallon out and continue to watch the next 2 episodes of Fit to Fat to Fit. Season 1's coming to an end, you guys. But I have announced if you do want to try out for season 2, you can go to fat2fitcasting.com. That's FAT2, FITcasting.com to try out for the show, whether you're a client or whether you're a brave trainer that's willing to do this to your body and mind. Go check it out. Go apply for the show if you want. Please follow me on social media, you guys, at Fit to Fat to Fit, or all my social media handles. My website is fit2fat2fit.com. I have a newsletter that will keep you in the know as far as upcoming events, where my travels will be, so that you can come meet me, shake hands, take a picture, and definitely follow me on social media as well if you want to, see more about what I'm up to. And then Lynn's website is 2fit at home, 2fit at home.com. And hers is focused on women, of course. There's not a lot of men that sign up for her website, but she's on all social media as well at toofitathome.com. Thank you guys so much for the support. We definitely appreciate you guys being a part of this, and thank you for joining us here on the Fit to Fat to Fit Experience podcast. Don't forget, if you love us, please let us know. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Leave us a 5-star review. We definitely would appreciate that. And we'll see you guys back here next week for another great episode. And have a good one.